that's worth mentioning too. But what I want to talk about today is something that's actually very well known. On August 23rd, 1927, so we're close to 100 years of that, Sacco and Vanzetti, two names which I think are fairly familiar to most of us, were murdered by the state of Massachusetts. Sacco and Vanzetti were arrested in 1920, in April of 1920. This was amid a big national kind of crusade against immigrants, something that we're familiar with today as well. There was this kind of fear that, traditional whitehood was being challenged. And Nicola Sacco and Bartolomeo Vanzetti were from Italy. They were both anarchists. They often passed out literature and tried to talk to people about anarchy. And they also carried loaded pistols, which was the style at the time and quite understandable given the pressures they were under. The authorities arrested Sacco and Vanzetti and charged them with the murder of two men during a payroll robbery. The trial became a national phenomenon. There was no evidence linking Sacco and Vanzetti to the crime. When the trial began, the judge was Webster Thayer. The name itself really fits, right? He's conservative, traditional, white, Ivy League judge who often lectured and wrote about the evils of Bolshevism and anarchism, and he was presiding. The facts of the crime were almost irrelevant because the testimony against Sacco and Vanzetti was based on their ethnicity, their political views, hysteria about the Red Scare, and Thayer's political ideas were obvious from the start. He rejected all the defense motions and said in court, no long-haired anarchists from California can run this court. It's about the lawyers. Later, according to sworn affidavits, he called Sacco and Vanzetti Bolsheviks, and he bragged that he would get them good and proper. Conviction obviously was inevitable, and they were found guilty. Sacco and Vanzetti appealed. Thayer said to his friends after the verdict, "Did you see what I did to those anarchistic bastards the other day? I guess that'll hold them for a while. Let them go to the Supreme Court now and see what they could get out of them." All of that became public, and it didn't matter. The convictions were upheld, and on August 23rd, 1927, Sacco and Vanzetti were executed by the state. And this was part of a big, as I said before, crusade at the time. Around this time, you're also seeing the Scopes trial in Tennessee, the rise of kind of right-wing evangelicals like Amy Semple McPherson and Billy Sunday. So I think a lot of what was happening,
revival of the Klan in the 20s.
Revival of the Klan. So I think it really fits in to what we're seeing today. So when you see, whether it be in the United States, people we've talked about like Jennifer Resnicek, or we've talked to Dan McGowan,
Jessica Resnicek.
I'm sorry, Dan McGowan, Jay Cronroy, or and any group like that has, this is a long American tradition. Sacco and Vanzetti really are a part of that. And I've told you many times growing up, that was kind of, as an Italian American community, we often heard about Sacco and Vanzetti. And so that's, actually probably more important to many of us than Columbus Day would ever be. But I think it's worth noting in 2023, that's something that happened in 90 some, over 100 years ago, actually, the arrest is really kind of similar to what's happening today. I mean, look at the rhetoric about immigrants and criminals, and what did Trump call them? Rapists and drug addicts and this and that.
Drug dealers, yeah.
Drug dealers and rapists. So I think it's kind of the same stuff. And it was Sacco and Vanzetti and Italians in the 1920s. I forget how many. I think 1,000 Italians, just Italian anarchists, were deported. So this is the kind of stuff that goes on when when your society is really in decay. Clearly, the U.S. is in decay right now. You have to look for external forces to blame it on. And immigrants are often, in that group. They are that group, and so that's why I think Sacco and Vanzetti is really important, and that legacy is